First entering service back in 1951, the steam locomotive R711, the Spirit of Bendigo, initially hauled passenger and freight trains through North Melbourne. It was one of 70 Victorian Railways Hudson locomotives that were added to the fleet following World War II, and it's now just one of 7 of these locos surviving into preservation. In the 1980s, R711 was displayed outside Bendigo station, replacing R766 that had been sitting there previously. It remained on show as a static display for over a decade, owned by the city of Greater Bendigo. In 1995, West Coast Railway obtained interest in leasing the locomotive and restored the engine for passenger services in Warrnambool. To ensure the reliability of R711, some modifications were made, including the replacement of the original single blast pipe with dual Lampore injectors, conversion to oil firing, and the fitting of power reverse. This helped enable the loco to keep a fast 3-hour, 13-minute run between Melbourne and Warrnambool. Less than a decade later, and with the service between the city and Warrnambool becoming unviable, West Coast Railways folded in 2004. The city of Greater Bendigo then granted a lease of the train to Steamrail Victoria, with both R711 and R766 relocated to the Newport workshops, where they both remain today. After a lengthy absence and many volunteer man-hours, R711 is now fully operational and accredited to operate on the Victorian Main Line, with the testing and accreditation undertaken back in 2011. Restored with a special Victorian Railways royal blue and gold livery, reminiscent of the Spirit of Progress days, the Spirit of Bendigo certainly catches the eye. Here at the Newport yards, the manual turntable manages to spin this 190-tonne behemoth with relative ease. Due to the size of the loco, there's less than 40 centimetres of track space left at each end of the turntable, requiring some precision driving. Thanks to the work of dedicated Steamrail volunteers, you can actually ride behind this magnificent engine, with the group operating various tours throughout the year. Also among the Steamrail fleet is R704, a preserved unit, and R761, which has also been restored to running condition. Another preservation group, 707 Operations, also run the R707 from an adjacent shed at the Newport workshops, using the dismantled R753 as a source of spare parts. R766 is a loco with a bit of a mixed history, spending time in the 1980s being run as a luxury rail service under the now defunct Australian Vintage Travel brand. It was leased to Steamrail between 1986 and 2000, before being transferred to West Coast Railways and later to the Hunter Valley Railway Trust in 2007, where it remains today. Adding to the history of R711, in 2022 the locomotive was featured on a commemorative 50-cent piece, celebrating the golden age of steam in Australia, and was also the only Victorian locomotive as part of the set. A relatively small number of the coins were produced, making them pretty hard to find, but they do form a set of 7, including Queensland Rail's A10, South Maitland's 10 class, and Commonwealth Rail's NM25 to name a few. The demise of the R-Class came as they were superseded relatively early in their lives, as more modern forms of traction took to the track. This resulted in R-Class locos being stored for seasonal grain runs with little to no maintenance. R716 actually recorded the lowest average miles of any VR engine, recording 143,000 miles in the 4 years leading up to its withdrawal in 1956. It was subsequently scrapped in '62. We hope you've enjoyed a brief history of R711. Thanks for watching, be sure to subscribe to Rail Australia for more content just like this, and we'll see you on the next one.